everybody is doing okay, practicing social distancing while also taking this time to spend time with your families and your loved ones. Don't forget to get outside, be active, get some sunlight and fresh air. We're going to this week continue on with what we were learning about last week. So, once again, our objective is going to be rounding 2 and 3-digit numbers to the nearest 10 on the vertical number line. So, we worked on vertical number lines this week. We are going to be experts now. We're going to start off with doing some group counting, just like we would do on the carpet at school. I'm going to count, and I hope that you can count along with me. Ready? Let's start. 3s to 30. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. 4s to 40. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40. 6s to 60. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60. Almost done, halfway. 7s to 70. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, 70. And 8s to 80. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, 80. Take a deep breath. We're on our last one. 9s to 90, my favorite. I love counting by nines. Ready, guys? 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, and 90. I hope you guys were all counting along. This is some practice that you can do every day on your own or with somebody in the family. All right, guys, on this slide, we're going to rename the tens. So we're going to write 9 tens. What does 9 tens equal? Well, if I had 9 of those 10 block rods, they're yellow. We've seen them before in class. If I had 9 of them, I would have 90 blocks altogether. So 9 tens equals 90. All right, we're going to talk about halfway on the number line. What number is halfway between 3 tens and 4 tens? Well, let's start by labeling our number line. 3 tens, well, I know that that's 30, and that's small, so it's going to go on the bottom. And 4 tens comes out to be 40. That's larger, so it goes up top. Now, I'm asking what number is halfway between 3 tens and 4 tens? Well, it won't be another 10 because that doesn't make sense, but I know that a number that ends in 5 is usually halfway. So if I went up from 30 to 40, I would land right in the middle here at 35. 35 is halfway between 3 tens and 4 tens. 35 is 3 tens and 5 ones. And that looks like this. 3 tens and 5 ones. Right. Like I said, if you guys ever have any questions about my videos, please bring it up to me in our Zoom meeting or send me a message on Dojo, send me a message through my email. I know a lot of our parents also have my phone number. All right, let's do these 3 examples. What number is halfway between 130 and 140? I would like for you to be following along. I hope that you all have your paper and pencil ready. 130 and 140. Make sure you're drawing your number lines. They should have 3 lines, one in the top, one in the middle, and one at the bottom. Well, I'm talking about the number 130. So 130 is the smaller number. It goes on the bottom. 140 is the larger number. It goes on the top. Right in the middle, I know that number is going to end in 5, so 130 up to 140. Right in the middle, you would find 135. Next example. What number is halfway between 830 and 840? 830 is the smaller number that goes on the bottom. 830. 840 is the larger number that goes on top. Right in the middle, if I start at 130 and I go up to 140, I will stop at the middle at 835. And our last example before we move on. 560 and 570. 560 is smaller, it goes on the bottom. 570 is larger, it goes on top. And if you can tell, there's a pattern here, like I had been mentioning. All of the numbers that are considered halfway end in 5. So if I'm going from 560 to 570, I'm going to stop at 565 with a 5 in my ones place. I hope that makes sense. All right, we're at our application problem. Now, the school ballet recital begins at 12:17. This ends at 12:45. How many minutes long is the ballet recital? So we're going to use our read, draw, and write strategy. Using our read, draw, and write strategy, we started off by reading the problem. We have to find out how long the ballet recital is. In this word problem, we were given information. The recital began at this time, 12:17, and the recital ended at 12:45. So we need to find that space in the middle. Now we're on to our draw portion of our problem. So I'm going to start not with a vertical number line just because the shape of the slide, I think what would look and work better for me right now would be a horizontal number line. So if you'd like to draw yours vertical or horizontal, go ahead. It's all the same. We're all going to start our number line. Well, we're talking about the 12 o'clock hour. So I'm going to have my number line beginning at 12 o'clock. Let me see. I'm going to have my number line beginning at 12 o'clock. So I'm going to label this part right here 12 p.m. right here in the beginning. Now we need to begin at 12:17. So if 12 o'clock starts here, I'm going to have 1 o'clock be over here. I hope that we're labeling along. I'm going to have 1 p.m. be over here. Now I have to figure out the space not in between 12 and 1 p.m. I have to figure out the space and time between 12:17 and 12:45 p.m. So I'm just going to take my best guess. 12:17, well, right around here would be 12:30. So I'm going to guess 12:17 is going to start right there. I don't have to be exact. This is my best guess and best estimate. So I'm going to go ahead and label this line right here. It's very light. I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and label this line 12:17. Hope you guys can see that. Alright, I'm going to label that line 12:17. I have to get all the way up to 12:45. But I'm not going to just make one big jump and get to 12:45 because that sounds like a lot. I'm going to break this up into smaller and easier time pieces so I can better understand how many minutes long the ballet recital is. So I'm going to start at 12:17. I'm going to go to 12:20. So 12:20 should be like right here or so. I'm going to go to 12:20. And 12:20 from 12:17, that's only 3 minutes. So I hope that you guys are drawing this along with me. It's a little difficult to do on the computer. I'm really sorry. plus 3 minutes. I'm going to label minutes as M. So now the recital has lasted 3 minutes from 12:17 to 12:20. Now I need to get up to 12:45. So I'm going to go from 12:20 to 12:40. 12:40 would go around here. Remember, we're just making estimates. This is not the part that you have to be perfect at. I'll let you guys know what part we have to be exact at. So right around here, I'd say would be 12:40 on my number line. 12:40. Okay, so if I went from 12:20 to 12:40, well, I can count by tens to figure out how much time has gone by. 12:20 to 12:30 is 10 minutes. 12:30 to 12:40 is another 10 minutes. That is 20 minutes altogether. Once again, I'm going to label minutes with the letter M. Okay, so now I've gone the 3 minutes from 12:17 to 12:20, and the recital has also lasted an extra 20 minutes, 12:20 to 12:40. Now we're not at the end of the recital yet. We still have to time travel 5 minutes. So I'm going to guess that 12:45 would go right here. I'm going to go ahead and label 12:45. 12:45. And from 12:40 to 12:45, that's easy. I've gone 5 minutes. I've traveled 5 minutes. The recital has lasted 5 extra minutes. Now it's important that we know how to formulate a number line like this, because on certain tests, it's not going to be enough to just go, oh, I can totally figure out the difference between 12:45 and 12:17. That's easy. I love that our smart brains can do that, but on many tests that we're going to be taking in the future, they're going to ask you to use this redraw right strategy and show your work. And this is how we would show our work for this problem. Okay, so we're just about done. We have figured out that from 12:17 to 12:45, that's 3:20 and 5 minutes altogether. So now what I'm going to do with these 3 numbers is I'm going to add them up, because that is the span of time in between 12:17 and 12:45. So I can actually use mental math for this part. I'm going to go and add 3 plus 5. That gets me 8. So now I have 8 minutes plus 20 minutes. The recital was 28 minutes long. I'm going to go ahead and write that answer down here. This is the right portion of my application problem. The recital was 28 minutes long. So let's walk through this shortly. We got our application problem. We were to read it. When we read it, we received information that was important. We received that the recital started this time, the recital ended this time, and we actually figured out what we're going to be answering. How many minutes long was the ballet recital? When we got to our draw portion of our application problem, we decided to make a number line. We were able to start here, end here, and we figured out the time in the middle. When we added it all up, we knew that the recital was 28 minutes long. That was our right portion, just a short sentence. The recital was 28 minutes long. If this was a test, we would have got a 100% A+. Okay, this is how we're going to answer these redraw right problems. Alright, you guys, we're going to round 2-digit measurements to the nearest 10. Let's round 28 minutes to the nearest 10 minutes. So in this slide, we're going to go back to using a vertical number line, just so that we're versatile and we can use number lines on either side, horizontal or vertical. So we're talking about 28 minutes. 28 minutes. Well, 28 minutes, I know, is in between 30 minutes and 20 minutes. Now it's not asking me to find the halfway point here. It's just asking me to round 28 minutes to the nearest 10 minutes. Well, if I had to place 28 on this number line, I would say it would go about here because it's only 2 minutes away from 30 minutes. With that being said, this is past the halfway point. This X has gone past the halfway point, 25 being the halfway point. With that being said, 28 minutes would in fact round to 30 minutes. Problem number 2. Round 17 milliliters to the nearest 10. Well, 17, I see a 1 in the tens place, so I'm going to start with 10 down at the bottom. And 10 away from 10 is 20. And right here in the middle, I know halfway between 10 and 20 is 15. Okay. So we are going to round 17 milliliters to the nearest 10. Well, on the number line, I'm going to make an estimate that 17 would go about there. 17 has passed my halfway point right here, and it is closer now to 20. So I know that 17 rounds up to 20. You may know that automatically just in mental math, but this is a way, once again, to show it using our read, draw, write strategy. Next slide is our problem set. This is a problem set with 6 questions. I'm asking you to round this to the nearest 10. Now I'm looking at this and it might be a bit fuzzy for some of you, but I will also have this uploaded onto Dojo and sent out in an email if this is too fuzzy for some of us to see. I'm going to also read it out loud. So we're rounding to the nearest 10. We're using these number lines to show our thinking. So just like we did in our previous slides, you're going to get a number. The first one is done for us. 1A says 32, and then there's that squiggly equal sign. That is our rounding symbol. What does 32 round to? So here's our number line. We have labeled 30 at the bottom, 40 at the top, and 35 is our halfway point. 32 lands about here on the number line because it's only 2 larger than 30. So 32 would round down, and 32 would round to 30. I'm asking you to round 36 to the nearest 10. Where would 36 fall on this number line? Would it round up to 40? Would it round down to 30? I'm asking you to round 62 to the nearest 10. And with that, you're going to label all the pieces of this number line. So 62, I would start with 60 at the bottom. Well, I'm going to go up. A number goes here. I'm going to find the halfway point. Where would 62 go on the number line? Find it and round it. Same goes for D, E, and F. We are going to be reviewing this in our Zoom lesson on Wednesday, so I am asking you to keep the work that you complete in a handy spot that you can pull out for Wednesday's lesson so we can review. If you have any questions in the meantime, between Monday and Wednesday, please feel free to reach out. And with that being said, we're going to end our lesson with our usual exit ticket. So I'm going to give you a chance to pause this slide and do the work, and we can regroup when we are done. When you're done, just unpause the video and we'll go over it together. All right, you guys, so we're going to go ahead and go over our exit ticket. I know that you guys have tried your best, and I know it's very difficult learning over a video, and I'm very proud of all of you. So we're going to go over number 1, says round to the nearest 10, use the number line to model your thinking. So I have the number 26 here. It wants me to round it to the nearest 10. On this number line, let me see if I can edit this. Oh, great, looks like I can. On this number line, 26, well, 20 would go at the bottom, okay. At the top would be another 10, would go 30, Okay, and right here in the middle would be my halfway point. So halfway between 20 and 30 is 25. So 26 is past the halfway point. 26 would go about here where my mouse is on the number line. So 26 would in fact round up to 30. All right, you guys, now we're going to do letter B, and that is rounding 276 to the nearest 100. So instead of having tens on our number lines, we're going to be labeling with hundreds. So 276, well, that's going to be 200 down the bottom. And 100 away from 200, of course, is 300. So 300 will go on top. The halfway point between 200 and 300 is going to be 250. And lastly, 276 on the number line. Well, 276 is closer to 300. It's about halfway, really, like right there almost, if you guys can see my X. So it's gone past the halfway point. It's closer to 300. With that being said, the 276 rounded to the nearest 100 is 300. And number 2 is a word problem. It says that Bobby rounds 603 to the nearest 10. He says it is 610. Is he correct? Why or why not? Use a number line and words to explain your answer. I have run out of room here on my slide, but I can absolutely explain, and if my explanation matches yours, you got it right. So if Bobby has the number 603 and he's going to round it to the nearest 10, well, he's saying it's 610. I have to say, I don't agree. He is not correct, and this is why. 603 is not past 605 to be rounded up to 610. 603, for example, would land around here on our number line, meaning it would go down. It would round down. The nearest 10, well, is 600 a 10? Yes. 600 is 60 tens. So 603 to the nearest 10 would round down to 600. All right, guys, once again, I just want to remind everybody that I am always available through text, call, email, dojo, to answer any questions that you guys might have. I'm hoping that when this goes up on Monday, most of you get a chance to look at it before our Zoom lesson on Wednesday. Looking forward to seeing you guys all there. I miss you all very, very, very much. It fills my heart when I see you guys sending me your work that you've done. I love it. It's awesome. You guys are awesome. I just cannot wait for this all to be over and for me and you all to be back together at school. Once again, guys, I love you all and I miss you, and I will talk to you soon. See you on Wednesday. Bye.